Lions fans, welcome to Detroit Lions Podcast. This is episode 565. Detroit Lions 2025 free agency moves. This official Detroit Lions podcast for Reddit. I am your dashingest of hosts, Chris, and with me is my good friend and fresh-faced pal, co-host, sexy-bodied centerfold waiting to happen, Jeff the Riz Risen. How you doing, brother?
I'm not that good, unfortunately. But thank you for the wonderful warm intro there. Yeah, this has been a crazy week with free agency and signings and draft things going on. I'm slightly overwhelmed, but I'm trying to be more just whelmed. And that's my status.
There you go. All right. Jim Swanson, already there. Love it, brother. But they're doing it wrong. We'll talk about that. I'm going to count on you a little bit today here, Riz. It's been so much. There's been so much going on. I've just got done going through 80,000 pages of JFK papers. And I'm not sure if you heard, but there's some questions as to whether the original narrative is true.
He's dead. I mean, doesn't really matter.
He and Elvis are hanging at a Burger King right now.
It was 62 years ago. I think it might be time to move on.
No, we'll get to this. All right, we got a lot to talk about. We are not going to talk about JFK, but we will talk about.
Good.
They did go to Jared. We'll talk about that in the warm-up section. We got the Lions free agent signings. Who's left that can help? A little bit of clarity watch on the draft. Lions rules, proposals, and a whole lot more. We got a great show lined up. Rizman, you ready to go, my friend?
Let's do it.
Ooh.
Let's kick this off and break it down.
I was thinking of calling Dean. Beer worshiping cult. I was thinking of giving him a ring and have him on, but it's probably next week before we can do that, and it'd be later in the week, just so y'all folks know. I've got to do some Detroit things here. Well, let's get into it. We'll start off with they went to Jared, and my heart swooned. Announcement today that they were going to do the mascots for the Netflix special this summer. Oh, they pulled the wool over our eyes. There they are, back doing the quarterbacks, and Jared Goff is one of the gentlemen that's being highlighted this year with Kirk Cousins, who went down early. So we will get more Goff time, I have a feeling, unless we're going to have tier time with Kirk.
Kirko was the star of the first one, so I assume that he will get a lot of time with that too. Plus, his wife's pretty good looking. Not that Goff's isn't, but
I was going to say, God, we win that one.
Goff might have everybody there, to be frank.
Yeah. Personality, the looks, the whole thing. She went to Jared, and boy, did he score.
Yes, he did.
Good
for him.
Stuff. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Jared.
And it's going to hit at a good time in July, right around our training camp party. Good stuff. That'll be fun to see as we're kind of going through training camp and getting ready to kick the season off. And we'll have been through the draft, we'll have had the break, and all the hopes and dreams will be back to life for a victorious Super Bowl trophy raising Detroit Lions season for 25.
Sounds
right?
Good.
All right. All right.
By the way, Joe Burrow is the third quarterback.
Yes. Yeah. Joey B.
He's fun to watch too.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's the show.
Easy guy to like.
We've won the Super Bowl. That's it. Spoiler alert. All right. There we are. Warm up. You're all here. Let's do it. Lions free agent signings. We have signed a couple of folks so far, and we want to talk about it. I think first we'll sign off with probably the most impactful signing on this team in the last decade. Shane Zylstra is a Detroit Lion, my friend. Congratulations to us. Like I said, let's raise the trophy. Let's call it a win and walk away.
I know he's like a reserve tight end, and I think he caught one pass for I think it was 22 yards last year. If I'm doing this off my head, the amount of people who commented "who" when that got posted by the Lions, like this is like his fifth season in Detroit, y'all. Yeah. Catch up. Play along.
Oh man, Jim Swanson. Why, since he lets anyone cameras in that building, is beyond me. Mess of an organization. Yeah, it's silly.
At least they don't charge the players for the Gatorade anymore. He used to do that. It's a true story.
Yeah. Oh man. All right. Shane Zylstra back, and yes, beer worshiping cult. He caught a bunch after the Hawkinson trade, but we're in a little bit different position now. Yep. We've got this game. It
was either him or Jesse James, and he ain't gonna throw to Jesse James.
You need Jesse James in a run and shoot. You just have to, right? That's where he's gonna really do his best. Sorry, Miles Davis, come back.
Those teams were so much fun.
Oh, it was wild. It was absolutely wild. All right, next guy, and this is one. This guy warms the cockles of Risen's heart. Mr. Craig Reynolds is back in Allen Park, back in the building. Great ad.
Yes, he is.
I know you talked to him, met him at the Tampa game. He's just such a fabulous kid, just a genuinely. And if you've seen him on the St. Brown podcast interacting with the guys, he's got a great sense of humor too. He's fantastic. I was hanging with his roommate from college at Tampa, and he was trading stories and got some pictures and stuff. And he was fantastic. And then he had that breakout game, right, with the killer block and everything else. It was fantastic. But he's one of those guys that just crushes the idea of don't meet your heroes, because he's just such a good human being, man.
He really is. And he's for my money the best number 3 running back in football. And that's what they're paying him for. And I love what they did with both him and Zylstra. They were restricted free agents. Had the Lions tagged them with the right of first refusal offer, which is what you need to tender them, would have cost $3.26 million apiece. They might have gotten both of them for that amount total, because they elected not to tag them, let them test the market, realize that maybe the market isn't there, or they just like Detroit better, and they came back. And that's smart business football by the Detroit Lions right there. Brad Holmes deserves a lot of credit for that, and understanding what the market would be for his players. I think he's done a fantastic job of doing that this offseason. And he's done everything right, but in that aspect,
chef's kiss. He's doing it $1 million at a time. I mean, he is. And it's the two things I think that stand out that probably get undersold on kind of the majesty of Brad Holmes working the roster is, one, that he does do $1 million, $2 million at a time, these little quick savings that otherwise, Bob Quinn would have paid, so much more for, but other teams would pay more for. He's really, really masterful, knowing the value, the market value for the players, working with the players to get them to sign, not overpaying, and just ending up fixing the salary cap position we were in the Quinn era. And then the other side is the magic that he has working the bottom of the roster. It's something we first saw, again, I'm going to refer to the Quinn dude, but we first saw them try to do that in the Quinn era, and he just was not good at it. He just wasn't good. It was the right mindset, the right thing to do, but not the right way to do it. And that's one of the things that burnt Quinn, I think, is he just wasn't good at that. He wasn't good at the regular roster either. I mean, he just downgraded and up-priced everybody he signed. But the fact that Holmes works the back end of the roster and the practice squad so well is undersold for him. Absolutely. Oh my gosh. Oh, I haven't watched the St. Brown pod since the playoff loss. I'm no cheap trick. Peaceful Tim.
Nice.
Shout out Pat D. Thank you, sir. Love you, brother, for the super chat. Just for Jeff. I dislike the player X is still out there. Brad should be bringing him in, and since he isn't, that's evidence of him not doing enough. Part 2 coming.
That's from our Slack, and I specifically asked Pat to do that. Thank you, Pat. Thank you. Appreciate that. It's
Pat D.
I tell you, man, it's woo.
It's another chat. Thank you, brother. Oh my God. So part 2. Like, come on. If you don't think Brad and company have a combo about player X and there's a reason X is not on the roster, I don't know what to tell you. Pat, thank you, brother, for the doubling up on the super chats, man. Love you, man. You are the man. Such a good dude. It's been a little bit.
And you're right.
Yeah, no question. No question he is. God, it's so nice of you. Thanks again, Pat. So we have Craig Reynolds in. That's why he's on the roster, because we had him in. We'll move on to the next one. I'm just going short. Ali Muhammad. You Al Sadiq, is it?
Al-Qadin.
Al-Qadin, thank you. I don't know why I can't keep it in my head. So Ali Muhammad. Number 69. That's the thing that I'll never forget about him. Makes our thumbnail this time for the show. He is in the house, and I think this is a really good signing. He was impactful this year beyond what we paid and far beyond what I expected out of him.
I agree. 3 sacks, limited playing time. Like, this was the guy. Like, his career was over.
Yeah.
Like he was a 17-game starter for the Colts in 2021. Was second on their team. He might actually led their team in sacks. I think he had 6 or 6.5. Good player. Signed with the Bears as a free agent. Didn't work. Got busted for PEDs. Bounced around. I think he was in 2 or 3 different training camps. Was with Dallas this past summer. Got busted for PEDs again. Had a 1-game suspension. Lashed on in Detroit and revitalized his career thanks to all the injuries. The Lions found somebody worth keeping out of all that maelstrom of, yuck.
Yeah.
And I'm happy that he's back. And he's a guy, like, look, he's not going to start. He's going to be competing to be the same role that he had last year, which is like a package pass rusher who can play outside. He can stand up a little bit if you ask him to. Probably don't want him to cover, but like this is the kind of guy you're talking about, the bottom of the roster churn. This is a guy that you don't have to sign from the outside who's fallen down and you're trying to get a bargain or something. Like, he knows your system, he knows the guys around him. They trust him, they know what he can do. That more important, they know what he can't do.
Yeah.
I love bringing back guys like this. Even if he's number 52, 53 on the roster, if he's a healthy scratch, for games during the season, we're better because he's here.
And because he's
probably not the move that anybody was looking for, but it's good. It's a good move.
He's not just a package player. At number 69, he's a player with a package. My man is back. He has a lot to bring to this team. Sorry, I couldn't help it.
Spray Sprite everywhere.
See, the wiener jokes, they fly sometimes. I'm excited about him. And again, you talk about, downside of the roster kind of guys. This is perfect. Is just as you said, having him, he knows the system. He's in the house. He's working with these guys. We've got him as part of the from the beginning, and we don't have to pull a guy in at the halfway through the year off his couch eating Doritos, watching Netflix, right, Craig? And
that's right.
we got a guy who's ready to go and can and has. The other side is like you talk about with the upside. He had a great year, draft year, his first couple. To be able to see him maybe return to form and then start to grow, which he hadn't been able to really do with the PEDs and after free agency, it just didn't go his way. This could have been the refocus, right? This is the reclamation project, the redemption arc kind of a guy. And this is the place to do something like that. I could see, not predicting it, but I can see a future where he comes and he is better than he was at the beginning of his career and becomes more than just a man with a package and a package player, right? So,
oh boy, I'm looking it up now. I'm looking up the Colts that year. Let's see. DeForest Buckner had 7 sacks. He had 6 sacks in 17 games. Had a really good year. This is back in 2021. So, yeah. Wow, Kimoko Tarai had 5. Wow.
Couldn't see DeForest for the package.
Lost a bet on him. I said that guy would never make a roster. I was wrong.
Oof. All right, there we go. So we're talking about that. We have some good stuff with Muhammad. Move on to another gentleman who is on the team and ready to rock and roll. Young Patrick O'Connor here, right after the old St. Patty's Day. We've got a man.
They blew it by not signing him Monday.
Yeah,
they really did. Missed an opportunity there.
But he's like a 4-leaf clover. If he stays healthy, he's another good rotational addition to this defense.
And this is the difference between you're paying him. I'm going to guess he's not making much more than the vet minimum. We haven't seen the contract yet. Or plugging in a 6th or a 7th round draft pick who might not be ready yet. It's good insurance against Mekhi Wingo not being ready for the start of the season. He did. Everybody is all up in arms about, Ali McNeil might not be ready. Well, Mekhi Wingo Yes. Wrecked his knee. I believe it was 2 weeks later.
Yeah.
So his timeline's even longer. And you got to replace that. That's a roster spot that somebody's got to fill. Why not have somebody like Pat O'Connor who understands the system? Again, they know what he can do. They know what he can't do. He can play everywhere across. He can play as a lightweight nose tackle. And they did that some last year.
Yep.
And look,
the ability to
not a
disguise
sexy signing, but
the ability to disguise packages like that.
Yeah,
I'm not playing the joke. I'm not doing a throwback here, but the ability to disguise what you have in the field and with the personnel like that is super, super. Is really important to having the kind of defense that Dan Campbell likes to run, and that surprise factor.
And he's a Detroit guy. Went to EMU. He gets it. He's a Dan Campbell type of player. That's again, and this saves them from having to draft that guy. They can use that pick on a developmental wide receiver or a even more developmental lineman, or an offensive tackle,
safety.
So one of the guys that have God knows they need safeties because they have 2 on the roster right now.
Yeah. So there's opportunity there for sure. But Pat O'Connor and Ali Muhammad really give you some flexibility with the rest of your roster. So good signings again. Holmes making the right moves. He keeps doing the things. Well, really exciting. And it's interesting now because I think 2 years ago people have been like, and there still will be people that don't kind of see it, but what in the world is this? Why didn't we sign the biggest name on free agency? What happened?
We're bringing back all these crap guys. They sucked last year.
Yeah. So, he's got a proven thing that works. Let's talk about the last one. I'm really high on this one, and maybe I shouldn't be, but I am. This is, I feel a lot about this guy like I do about Muhammad as far as what that kind of the ceiling is. Tim Patrick back as wide receiver. He played really well. And I mean, he's got that chip on his shoulder after the injuries. He was written off all over the place. Jared Goff was written off even by everybody, right? Except this team. Even the fans all over wrote him off, and he came back, and he's now in this different. I think Tim Patrick has something to prove in very much the same vein, and he's a guy that has all the right abilities up until now, except availability, and he's played his role well. He had that grit. He took no crap on the field. He wouldn't let anyone give crap to his guys, his teammates. He's got the whole thing out there. I loved everything we saw from Tim Patrick. He started to really come alive as the season went on. I believe Tuply is going to kill it this year. I think we're going to see maybe his best season as a pro this year. Again, I think that I have nothing to base that on except what we've seen from him, where he's been. But the table's set for him. It's if he does, it's because he did it. You know what I mean? And I think if anybody's going to do it, he's one of those guys that's in the right headspace to take that next step and do something just like that.
Absolutely. But again, and I'll reiterate my stance on it. I'm glad that he's back, but he can't be the only guy that you have there.
No.
You've got to have insurance for a guy who's missed as much time as he has with the injuries that he's had.
Yeah.
And if he winds up being a mentor to that guy for a year, that's fantastic.
That's even better, right? Even better. Yep. Maybe you can build a coach out of that, right? And because again, that mindset of being a Detroit Lion, and as we saw the churn that we've had, one of the things, it's really nice to bring in, coaches at the beginning and set their mindset to it for what they can be. So nothing wrong with that. All right. So that's the free agents that I have. Riz, do you have anybody else that you want to talk about?
They did bring back Mitchell Agude.
Yes.
And he will compete for the same role that he did last year. And this was a weird one last year because a lot of training camp, he was working as the number 2 Sam behind Derek Barnes, and he wasn't bad at it. Like it clearly wasn't natural for him, but he was showing improvement. And then it just kind of went away.
Yeah.
He kind of went away. Yeah. And he was like a practice squad. Like, I'm glad that they're giving him another shot because he's a guy. He has a great backstory that Dr. Liao chronicled, and he wrote it up. I published it today at Lions Wire. Check that out. It's pretty cool about how he darn near died as a kid. And it's pretty remarkable that he's in the NFL with all that he's overcome. And he'll get a shot. That's all you can ask for.
That's all you can ask for. And Dr. Liao, I owe you a call, brother. I know I do. I'm sorry. I'll get to you. I will. I swear to God I will. All right. That's free agency.
The best. He's the best, man.
He's
Love that guy.
fantastic. He is absolutely. I love. We last time we talked for like an hour. It's great. He's a fun dude. All right, I want to, before we move on to the next topic, Peaceful Tim had a good question. Serious question. Did we make changes with our strength and conditioning staff, nutrition plans, anything else? We can't run it back after those numbers last year. The injuries.
They are intact. To my knowledge, they haven't changed anybody there.
One guy who's been there for 40 years retired.
Okay.
I forget his name off the top of my head, and he's been there for so long. I was going to remember it and wish him bon voyage and congratulations. So that is.
Yeah. So they had just changed everybody. Was it 22 off season going into 23? Maybe they did. They made some change, and they brought in and I can't think of her name, and I can see her too, and she's like in charge of all of that, like kinesiology and all that stuff, which is like way the hell over my head. So they have revamped that. It just came out really, really poorly last year. And so I will go back to quickly when I covered the Texans, they did this, and they because they had a crap ton of injuries. I want to say it was 2019, including that was here that JJ Watt got his tibial plateau fracture, which is like the worst thing that can happen to your leg. It's like, it sounded hideous. And they had a few other injuries as well, and they changed, and they completely gutted their weight room, their kitchen and everything, and revamped it all. And they actually wound up having more injuries the next year. And their explanation for it at the time was, we're not used to the change yet. Like, we got to give this time, because this was nobody bought that. It was Bill O'Brien as the coach, so nobody really bought anything anyways. But I loved Bill O'Brien as a coach, but as a GM, he was probably worse than Bob Quinn. Oh my God. Oh, nightmares.
Yeah. Those
17 and 19 years for me, like covering the Browns, Texans, and Lions. Like, the Texans were good too. They just God.
Yeah.
It's a wonder I didn't drink myself to death.
Hey, yet. You haven't drank yourself to death yet. Let's not, you can still rise to the challenge. All right. Yep. So that's it. And look, broken bones, I'm not sure there's a lot of conditioning involved in that. That is, drink your milk and take some calcium pills. That's about all you got. Although I don't know, there are some like osteoporosis drugs out there. I don't know if they would think of those as performance enhancing drugs. I don't know if they would tap it. I don't know. But at some point,
you can get like the shots that my mom gets. My Asian mother gets those shots to build up her bone density.
Yep.
It seems to work for her.
I know what they're called. So it's interesting. So I mean, there may be a chance, we'll see.
I have no idea if that's banned by the NFL or not. I genuinely don't know that. Right. That's a good question.
And I feel like there's a lot of progress in that area too. The drug your mom's on, I guarantee, was up in the last Space Shuttle, or the one before the last one. But because they were studying for astronauts, because they get that bone density loss while they're in space, right? Because of no gravity.
Right.
But boy, JFK astronaut, we've got you covered here. Don't worry.
The former astronaut Mark Kelly hawks it on ads.
There you go.
I remember that now.
We should do an ad for them if they would, because there's where the money is. Anyway, that would be interesting, because you talk about these soft tissue injuries, and like, if you build the skeleton stronger, does that risk issues with the soft tissue industry injuries? Like, I don't know, like, how much can you build a body before you break something else? It's nuts. It's a lot. But anyway, that's where we're at. Hey, what's up, Kimber? Nice to see you, brother. Mike is here. Make sure to like and stream for the OGs. It's a YT YouTube game. Thanks, brother. Appreciate you. Lions Talk from Chat Smarts, Mr. Kimber, Mike. So there you go. That's the talk about it. Those shots actually make more brittle bones. It shuts off the osteoblast, and it doesn't clear out the old bad bone. Yeah, it does. It prevents resorption. That's where you're at, Jeff. All right, let's get going to the next one.
I love it.
Matt V's got it. Just drink more milk. See, and then you'll find the hormones in the milk trigger your PEDs, right?
Gotta drink the milk straight from the freaking cow like I did when I was a kid. And and being lactose intolerant, that was hell.
In Riz's case, he was drinking it from the bowl, but we won't talk about that. Stickier than he thought.
We didn't have a bowl, thank you very much.
All right, let's get to the next one. The whole question of
Yes, I can artificially inseminate a cow. I know how to do it.
Don't set me up. Don't set me up like that, Riz. Come on. Come on. Don't. It's too easy. All right. Who's left that can help the Detroit Lions? And I'm going to start with one, Riz, because he's a guy that's out there that people have bandied about. I've heard some voices say that the Lions are really playing hard to get their hands on this young gentleman, Mr. Trey Hendrickson, wanting a trade. I saw some news today that said he was going to sit, not play if without a trade. There's a lot going on. Riz, where are we, man? Like I said, I was diving into the JFK file, so I don't have anything for you here.
I mean, the last I heard was that they were making progress on a contract with him. So I am looking now.
Pinners available.
Bengals Trey Hendrickson contract rumors keep flying. Okay, this is from Bengals Wire. My colleague Chris Rowling, fellow Ohio Bobcat, love you, buddy. Jeremy Fowler from ESPN noted that while there's a trade interest from other teams, the Bengals don't have an interest in that avenue, and that some problems with an extension persist. This will inevitably be a new money issue. He wants at least, based on the parameters here, 3 years, $76 million. New money on top of what he's already getting. That's a lot of money. That would probably preclude him from coming to Detroit, because that means you can't sign. I just did these guys that I'll have to get up. Hutch, Kirby, JMO, Branch, and Gibbs all have to be signed by the beginning of next season. If you're bringing Trey Hendrickson, you're saying goodbye to at least one of those guys. And Sam Laporte is a year after that.
How are they going to re-sign him after as Peaceful Tim says, the 2 number 1 wide receiver contracts they just laid out?
So they actually lowered their cap hit on, like, overall, especially on Chase. His new deal saved them like tens of millions in cap this year. Now, what's going to happen with the Bengals, because they're the Bengals? They will squander it. They will let go of other people, maybe Trey, although I wouldn't count on that. But, like, if they have other guys that are coming up for extensions, like, see ya, we'll take your comp picks, thank you very much, and we'll enjoy, battling with the Browns for being last place. That's what their fate is. But, like, if I were a Bengals fan, I would be absolutely ecstatic that they did what they did, because it shows some actual commitment and money towards their good players, which they haven't done in hardly forever. So good for them, but it's kind of bad for the Lions if you want Trey Hendrickson, because it seems like these feel like, and I've gotten this from Rowling and from Joe Goodberry, who everybody knows on social media is like the Bengals brain guy, that this is the Bengals saying we're going all in for the next couple of years to try to win it all. So a team that's going all in doesn't trade the NFL sack champion.
They've got Joe Burrow, and they have to go all in. They have a window, and it's because of the construct of their team. They have a window. Yeah. They're not in a position where they could spend the time to build a team like the Lions did at this point, even if they had the capability starting this year. So they really do have to go after it. So we'll see what happens. Peaceful Tim, I know it. The salary cap isn't real. That's right. It's a social construct. Don't believe it. They're just full of shit.
I remember that phrase now.
All right, I want to hit you with another name, Riz. Okay. I know I said I wasn't because I was so deep in those files, but let me ask you about Zadarius Smith. He's a guy that evidently the team he played for last year threw him to the side. They don't care about him anymore. He's out there available. I think the more realistically, or more honestly, he's older. They probably know what his market is. And they probably have talked to him and said, look, if you're going to get more than this, let us know and we'll work something out. He wants to play here. He's made that, that statement. So he's probably got something that he's looking at where he's like, you know what, I've got this. I'm happy. I'm not going to seek it because I'm going to get this amount of money, kind of end my career here in a place where I'm happy, a place where we really do have a chance, right? And we'll see, maybe they bring in a little extra help and then we can be part of something, bigger and better. I really think that's probably what's going on in his head and with the team's head on this Darius Smith stuff. The fact that he hasn't signed anywhere already kind of tells me he's floating around the planet Detroit here.
And he could be a guy, he's 35? He doesn't want to do training camp. He doesn't want to do mini camp.
Very true.
Like he's going to wait. If he knows what the Lions are going to pay him, that value's not going to change. Even if they draft somebody, like they know what he is, they know what he can do. He would be, and I will say this though, Marcus Davenport coming back sort of renders him a little superfluous if the Lions believe that Davenport is going to stay healthy. Now, why in the hell would they believe that? I can't answer that question because I wouldn't do that.
Yep.
But he will be ready. Like he's at the stage of his career where he can ring whore and he should ring whore. He's made a lot of money. He's a good he's one of those guys that you can see being successful. He's not wasted his money. He's a smart guy. He's very good off the field. He has a lot of different things going on. Like he doesn't need that bull crap. I don't need to show up on May 15th and go to veteran minute 3 day. Come on, that's not Darius Smith. That's not what he's going to do.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be stressed at all about that.
He doesn't need to, right? And he doesn't want to. Likely doesn't want to.
Right.
Now, I could see him showing up because he's a team guy. You know what I mean? And so that's the difference, and that's something I think he brings and even at his age, where his head's at is probably why he has as much to give with his body. Because there's that mind-body connection. He's just got that right attitude, right? And he's good for the team. I have a sense he's one of those guys that would come around for that. I just don't think anybody has to move too quickly right now. I don't think anybody has to be in a rush and they can let things play out in a way that's beneficial for everybody.
Yeah. There's no urgency for either side on that one. Certainly not before the draft. Now, having said that, he'll sign tomorrow.
Yeah. Because we ruined Brad's strategy.
We did.
Everybody knows what he's doing now. Because let's face it, the rest of the NFL is listening.
That's right.
All right, I bopped 2 guys up in there, Riz. Let's talk to you. Who do you think is left out there that could help the Detroit Lions?
All right, so I am looking, and I'm just going to go through these. This is ESPN's best free agent still available. Now, this is a little bit dated because number 1 is no longer there. That was Cam Robinson, the offensive tackle he signed with the Texans today. By the way, the Texans just gave Danielle Hunter a massive extension that does impact what Hutchinson's going to get, so you'll want to pay attention to that. I don't have the breakdown on it, but check my guy Texans Cap online. He's fantastic on all things financial. He knows his crap, and if you ask him a Lions question, he will answer it for you. Like he'll look it up the data. He's a good dude. Shout out to you, Troy. Number two is Rasul Douglas, cornerback. Lions aren't in the market for a cornerback. At least we don't think they are. Stephon Diggs, number 3, nope. Mari Cooper, number 4, I wish, but nope. Number 5, Asante Samuel. Number 6, Mike Hilton.
Can I go back
number
to Mari
7.
Cooper really quick? Sorry.
Yeah.
What do you see in him? Because he's a guy that always had the high ceiling, but never came close. Now he's he was at least a field stretching kind of guy. He had a lot of capability. Do you think he's got that in the tank to really bring something to the Lions?
I don't know, because he did in Cleveland and then he didn't in Buffalo last year. He fell off kind of hard, and now maybe it was just the transition of going from having, softball throwers extraordinaire, whether it's Bailey Zappi or Jameis Winston or I forget who else played quarterback for Cleveland last year, Torian Thompson-Robinson.
It's a long list.
Going to Josh Allen, like that's a radical change.
Yeah.
But there was some report, and I forget where it came from, that somebody who knew him said he was done, and not meaning like he's going to retire, but like his body's shot. I don't know about that. I like him because he's big. I did see him at his best in Cleveland, and dude can play. And he understands how to play off of a playmaking tight end specifically. The Browns used him incredibly well next to David Njoku. I would love to see that combination with Sam Laporta, who was phenomenal as a rookie, and then last year was really good, but sort of felt a little more underutilized, maybe.
Yep.
So I would support it, but I wouldn't commit a lot of money to it. So
I'm with you
just
on
to
that.
see tire kick, Yeah.
He's another guy with that mind body connection, and I think that's what happened because there was years in Dallas where he just his head wasn't in it, you know what I mean, and he didn't perform. I think there's a lot to be said about that with him, and I don't know. I mean, in Detroit, he's not going to get away with it. He's either going to be there and be it, or he's going to be gone. So if it's a low enough price, sorry, I didn't mean to sideline you as you're working through your list.
That's a good discussion to have because he's a guy that I would be happy if they signed him, but I don't think they're going to be interested. That's just my take on it.
No, that's fair. I think that's probably a pretty smart take.
Yeah. So I'm getting down. Tevin Jenkins is the first player at a position of need that the Lions really have that would be interested. Former Bears guard. He is a tackle in a guard's body and can't really play either of them very well. I don't honestly know why he's number 7 on this list because there are several guys that are listed lower here. Among them, Brandon Scherf, Calais Campbell, Garrett Bradbury. All those guys are better than him. Maybe it's because he's young and because he's been injured and because he's been hurt, he hasn't developed yet. Well, and it says right here from ESPN, has played in only 38 of a possible 68 career games. So on the one hand, that sounds like a Brad Holmes reclamation special. On the other hand, it's like, maybe he's just not that good and probably has had his development stunted by all the injuries.
Yeah. That's
for you
fair.
to decide.
Yeah.
And we got Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, J.K. Dobbins, Keenan Allen. I think he looked done last year in Chicago. Again, he fits the bill for a guy who could be Tim Patrick, but they signed Tim Patrick. I'd much prefer that they draft somebody to be his underling or
a longer term, lower cost kind of guy. And you could probably give it a low risk space in the draft too. Yes,
absolutely. Middle rounds, late round would be fun. We're going to have some of those guys coming soon. By the way, a blank prospect for every round of the draft kicks off tomorrow with offensive tackles for the Lions.
Oh, there you go.
That'll be on Lionswire. Check that out. I have it scheduled to come alive at 6:50 a.m. tomorrow. I finished it about 10 minutes before we went on the air here, and I'm very happy because I've been working on it for weeks, and everything kept happening, and I couldn't get it finished. So anyways, the first player that really interests me comes up. He's number 12 on their list. Is Brandon Scherf, veteran guard, played with Jacksonville last year, had a really good year. He's interesting. He's 33. He's been really, really good. He fits schematically. If you're looking for a guy who can push Graham Glasgow into the reserve role, that would be the best option that's out there on free agency. Mm-hmm. Calais Campbell, dude's 39 years old. He's still a bad mofo, man. And I don't know where you'd play him, but I'd love to have him on the team. He's so good still. And he would be the ultimate culture guy, and he's very much in ringhorn mode. So we'll see. Zadarius Smith is next. That sort of gives you an idea of the pool of talent. Zadarius Smith is the number 14 free agent available. The Lions didn't want him at, I think it was $11 million. So this is the salary range you're getting to. Garrett Bradbury, former Vikings center. He might have actually signed somewhere in the day and a half since ESPN published this. Matt Judon is next. I like Matt Judon a lot as a veteran reclamation project. He's 33. He was great in New England. He got hurt. He went to Atlanta. They didn't know what they had. They couldn't rush the passer. They didn't know how to use his power. They asked him to be a speed guy. It didn't work. I like the idea of him coming here and trying to prove people wrong. Grand Valley State guy. I believe he's from West Bloomfield, I think. Would be very happy to. I'd be very interested in Matt Judon.
I'd love to see old Judon come back. I would love to see the Matt Judon we know come back. You know what I mean? And give it his all. Be that guy. That'd be fun.
Yeah. So EJ Speed, we need another linebacker. I need another testicle. Jedrick Wills, hard no on Jed Wills. I watched that in Cleveland. Hank Fraley would.
How did you just roll by needing another testicle like that? Hold up here a second. You just rolled out of that
Chris, look at their linebacker depth chart. They've already got superfluous dudes.
I know, but I'm sorry. I am adding that to my repertoire, Riz. That's a good one. That is, and the fact that you just slid it in there and kept going, it was good. Sorry. You didn't like another testicle. Okay.
Yeah, I want nothing to do with Jedrick Wills, and more to the point, I don't think Hank Fraley would want anything to do with Jedrick Wills. He would be, they would turn Mount Patricia back into punitive form for Jedrick Wills and his demeanor.
Yeah.
Not going to happen. I would be stunned if they brought him in. He's just not a Dan Gamble guy at all. He's might not be anybody's NFL guy at all. Deontay Johnson, don't really need him. Justin Simmons. Okay, now we're getting into some safeties, and we absolutely need a number 3 safety. Yeah. Justin Simmons and Julian Blackmon are the next 2 guys on the list. Either one of those guys would be very interesting. They'd have to come affordable. They'd have to understand that they're playing a part-time role, that they're going to be overshadowed by 2 Pro Bowlers / All-Pros already at their position. Who knows if they're amenable to that? It wouldn't hurt to talk to them. And again, Jameis Winston, some linebackers. Fred Johnson, no. Tyler Lockett would be great, but like they have that position already. He's like a cross between Amon-Ra and Khalif. Like, right. He's a great player. What do you do with a 32-year-old guy like that? Like, he's like I think he'd be a good signing for someone, but I don't know if the Lions need to spend that for that.
Can I ask you about
Will Hernandez?
Can I ask you about a player real quick? I apologize. Can I ask you about a player? Because this came up from Don Burr in the chat, and I think it's a fun one to talk about. Give up next year's 3rd and get Trayvon. And get Trayvon Walker. He's up for trade and pair the 1 and 2 guys together. What do you think about Trayvon?
He's absolutely not up for trade. He is absolutely not up for trade.
Really?
The person who wrote that is full of shit, and you can tell him I said that.
Wow. Okay. Well, I know Don's a favorite with the Bears fans. Maybe he can get them to go say something. Yeah. Sorry. Okay. Yeah. That was I saw that
every reputable Jacksonville reporter was like, huh? What the fuck, man? Like that was yeah.
It's when the JFK files were mentioning the Israeli intelligence service. I looked up and I saw that headline. I was like, "Huh, that's interesting." Then went back to reading, but it was really into all this, really big stuff here.
Yeah, yeah. Will Hernandez is interesting because he and Roy Lopez have been together before, and they practiced against each other a lot. He's a guard, played with the Cardinals, was originally a Giant. He'd be interesting. He's coming off of an injury. Again, Brad Holmes, you get the salivating meme there. Good player, fits our scheme. Will he sign? I don't know. Like there was a lot of momentum over the weekend that like, oh, the Lions are going to get him, and it wound up being just like, okay, well, everybody read a little, probably too much into Roy Lopez, showing Will Hernandez's Foundation's hat while he was at Allen Park.
Right.
I get that, but he'd be fun. I would consider bringing him in. Absolutely. Von Miller is the last guy on the list. 36 years old, did not play particularly well last year for Buffalo, except when he rushed the passer against slow-footed tackles. Like, it was very specific. There are some of those in this division that maybe you can exploit, but he's probably going to want more money than what the Lions are going to want to pay for that.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not a great free agent class that's left. Jeff Okudah got signed this week.
Good for him.
Like, it is good for him. He's in Minnesota.
Good for him, and I would love to see Detroit torch him again.
Absolutely. I'm happy that he's back in the division. Look, I really liked him as a draft prospect.
Me too.
And while he certainly didn't live up to anywhere close to the expectations that I or the Lions had for him, he could not have landed in a worse spot ever.
Yeah.
He's a guy who very much needed positive reinforcement, good role models, a good situation, and a zone scheme, and the Lions offered him none of that. When he finally started to play well, he got hurt a lot.
Yeah.
In a way, I feel terrible for him, but
I do too.
At the same time, like
he's another guy. He's another guy that this time it wasn't hurt. It was with the scheme that he was set up in, where he didn't get to grow for a couple years in his career. Yeah. You talk about putting guys in the wrong position or playing the wrong scheme for the players. That was it to a T. And Matt Patricia did nothing to help that poor kid. And so I say that, and I make some jokes about it. As a person, I have nothing but respect for it, because he's a really good player coming out. He could have been a really great cornerback in the NFL, but you know how it is about, especially in the brain body connection for a cornerback, right? You spend that many years where he was at, and then throw the injuries on top of it. You're going to break a guy. Matt
he was a mentally fragile guy.
Yep. And he fucked that kid up. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. Mentally fragile guy, and if you're going to be that at cornerback, you better have a really strong locker room and positive coaching reinforcement environment around him, and he absolutely did not have that.
Yeah,
and that was the fault of Matt Patricia, who's now Ohio State's co-defensive coordinator. I had a really fun time talking about that on my good friend Josh Keatley's Ohio State-based podcast. If you want to look up his Twitter, it was a lot of fun. Told some Lion stories on there, and also went through and proof that my sense memory recall knowledge of growing up in an Ohio State household, like it just flowed back to me, which was crazy.
Yeah.
Because I haven't been a fan since probably the Tressel era. Urban Meyer was like, okay, we're done here. Like that was a really easy choice.
Yeah.
So
Matt Patricia, he was in the JFK Files as a MK Ultra plant, as a matter of fact. So there's a lot going on. Sorry,
I don't even know what that means.
This is such fun. Like these things get released is just abs. You got to know, Riz. Like I have my neighbors when we get together, like every month or so, we get together, go out, have some drinks in each other's backyards, whatever, and just do a thing. When we come to my house, I always make someone defend a conspiracy theory. Like you have to get behind it and act like as we're drinking, right? And you have to act like
I'm never coming over.
Yeah, it's so fun because you can sit there and after a while you start saying, okay, I can see how these guys would believe these things, right? And how, it's like okay, but it's such a fun party game. It really is. I mean, you should try it. It's fantastic. You work on your rhetoric. You get to like go into funny places and come up with some really crazy
so from
things.
That standpoint, it's sort of like having debate, high school debate, forensic
100%.
Debate.
Yeah, with drinks.
Okay, I'm
about hilarious topics.
In that, but...
it's fantastic, dude. I'm telling you. So anyway, this coming out is just I can't wait because I'm grabbing JFK for the next get together, man.
So one of your topics should be about the conspiracy surrounding Lars Ulrich and Jason Newsted and the And Justice for All album recording. That would be very interesting to me. That's sort of what I talk about.
There's no conspiracy. They took the bass out. What are you talking about?
Well, there are conspiracies around that. Jason couldn't play. Lars was offended because his drumming was so bad and it like overwhelmed. Like there's it's out there that
Jason could play.
Those are yes, I've seen him. I know he can play. Those are the rabbit holes though that I go down. You go down weird ones there. I go down weird ones on the other side.
Yeah, okay, that's fine.
I actually wound up in a half an hour behind the scenes online discussion about the Dillinger escape plan today. Like that's where my free time goes.
Go. Oh man, we'll have to talk about DB Cooper after the show. Combat sack. Matt Patricia, the smartest man in the room, unless the room is full of football coaches.
That's a good line.
Good one. I love it, man. All right. Sorry. Yeah, Peaselton. Pick anything from the CIA files. You can't lose. It's funny. It's just fun. I don't know. There's serious stuff there too, but it's nuts. It's nuts. All right. So anyone left on your list, Riz, that we need to think about?
Not really. I mean, it's not a good free agent class to begin with. The top guys are pretty much picked over. Like
Lyndon Johnson is unsigned.
I would rather. Lady Bird. Get me to King of the Hill.
Can't stop. All right.
King of the Hill. George I had Bush. No idea when I moved to Texas that show was a documentary and not an animation.
George Bush is the only person who doesn't know where he was on the day JFK was killed, except he was there. Okay, we'll move on to the next one. This is so fun.
I really don't know what you're talking about now.
It's fun. All right.
Okay.
Do we have more draft clarity now, a week into free agency? I feel like it's all confusing now. We don't know anything. Are we going to get
It's
an
always
edge? Are we going
been
to get
confusing.
safety? Are we going to get a guard? Are we going to get a linebacker? Are we going to get a third testicle? What are we doing here?
So my working theory, and it's just a theory, dare I say a conspiracy theory, though I don't want to set you off, is that because they haven't addressed the offensive line, even in bringing Coyote Alshika back, is that they're going to draft that high, whether it's first round, second round, I don't know. But it feels like that's what's going to happen. There are certainly candidates for that. I would love Donovan Jackson at 28.
Ooh.
In fact, you will read later this week. We did an all editors mock draft amongst our wires, and he was my pick for Detroit. And I chose him over several players that a lot of people are going to be like, why the bleep did you pass on this guy? Because I think Donovan Jackson is not only the best guard in the draft, I think he's the best tackle in the draft, too. And I can get him at 28. His play at left tackle when Ohio State moved him out because of the injury to Justin Simmons, who's probably the other best tackle in this draft, was like wow. Like, that's why they won the national title, because he was so good out there. And everybody's like, oh, they got this slow-footed guard that they're moving out to tackle. And he beat the hell out of people out there. And I loved it. If I can get that guy to be your number 6 lineman or start at left guard for a year, which is where he's normally played, like, hell yeah, I can be that guy.
Yeah.
Then if Taylor Decker moves on in 2027, slide him over. You're good. Or slide Panay over to the left side and move Donovan over to the right side, or maybe have somebody. Maybe Manu's ready by then. Please, that'd be great.
So you've got a position that's on fire right now with edge, right? It's a burning need.
Right.
You have a center and left tackle. We'll just say tackle because we got Panay and he could kick over.
Right.
And I know it's not easy, but he's proven that he can do it and do it well. You've got a smoldering need right now at tackle and center. Do you go into next year without having edge fixed, and then one of those guys retires? You're hurt for years, right? And I know you think you can get it in free agency. I know. I mean, there's other ways to kind of chase these things and take care of them, but I don't know. It doesn't seem like a Holmes thing to leave those unmanaged. And so, I mean, I see it. We got Mike. Mr. Kimber, I'll be fine with O-line and D-line as the top 2 picks out of the draft. It would not hurt me at all. I look at the safety and I say, this is definitely another smoldering position because we're an injury away from Tara. We're an injury away from Maurice Norris being your starting safety. Yeah. And nobody got time for that.
Maurice Norris, like, no offense, dude, but that is a terrifying thought indeed.
No Mo. So yeah, no. I mean, I hope he works hard this off season. Love to see him work hard this season.
He can blitz,
but that's look. If we wind up because the BPA is a tight end or a linebacker, right? We just drafted a third testicle, and I'm screaming
these nuts
because something is absolutely wrong. Sorry, I missed that earlier.
I mean, like Jihad Campbell would be like the consummate lion.
Yeah,
but he's exactly Jack Campbell.
Yeah.
You've already got Jack Campbell. Jack Campbell's damn good. Like, I don't know what you do with that. Alex Anzalone, like, look how bad our defense was when he was out compared to when he was in. Like, that's a tough one because he would be very difficult because if he's on the board at 28, he's probably the best player available. But can you really take a guy that you literally already have on your roster? Like, I don't know. I don't know how they do that.
Yeah. I don't know. Don Burr again. I hate Brandon Joseph made a boneheaded decision. He was trending upward. That's true.
He was,
and he's a guy. And
he was.
This isn't a team that'll write off a guy for one bad decision, right? So,
yeah,
we'll see.
Okay. On that front, can we talk about James Pierce real quick because he's been Mel Kiper linked him. Was it Mel? Yes, I believe it was Mel that mocked him. Either Mel or Daniel Jeremiah. Mm-hmm. One of them mocked James Pierce, the edge from Tennessee, to the Lions. And there's a lot of, like, consternation out there. They're like, oh, he's not a character guy. He's a bad dude. Like, I'll tell you what the dinner conversation I had when I was with a bunch of different NFL media, draft media, while we were in Indy, and everybody's like, we've heard that he's like legitimately not in possession of all of his marbles, but there's like nothing nefarious or bad really, and like nobody can point to any specific situations. I can't either. It's one of those vague like it's weird, and I don't know what to make of it. I would be stunned if Mike Green was on the Lions draft board. I don't know what to think about James Pierce. A lot of people are like, "Oh, there's no way that." Like, I don't know that. Because it's so vague, and like one of the guys had actually talked to a couple of his Tennessee teammates, and they're like, "He's just crazy, man." Like okay, like, oh, do you want to elaborate? It's like, be crazy. Like, okay, like I don't know what you do with that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't rule it out, but it feels like there would probably be better options.
That's fair. I don't think that's out of line or whatever. Let's
I do think that the talk of him being this like bad person, I think has been overblown.
Yeah.
I missed his podium time, so I didn't get the chance to ask him if he was crazy or not. Sorry.
It's okay. There's only one answer to that.
I will beat your ass.
That's the one answer.
You know how much I love the matter-of-factness of his tone.
Yeah.
It is like I aspire to have that level of like bravado.
Yeah.
It'd be great.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about Lions proposing new NFL rules to the committee.
Yeah.
The committee.
Fun.
There was 2 proposals from the Detroit Lions. I do want to go back
3.
and reiterate.
You did 3.
Oh yeah, you're right. Sorry. I want to reiterate there was one, and it's the most ironic proposal ever to the Rules Committee that the Packers are trying to outlaw the tush push. Anyone named the Packers would be pro tush push. I don't care. It can't be that way. So anyway, all right, let's go to it. Detroit has the first one they have is the illegal contact for with eligible receivers. They want to get rid of the automatic first down and change it to just the loss of 15 yards. So it's a 5-yard penalty, and defensive holding is also included in this. That's a 10-yard penalty, but both of those come with an automatic first down. Yep.
And they actually did data on this, and I don't have the numbers in front of me, but it was relayed to me that more defensive holding penalties occur on 3rd and more than 10 than any other like down distance circumstance. So what happens is they don't get the first down because they're only adding 10 yards. But because it's an automatic thing, they actually get it. Now, the other thing is here that the Lions, and I'll credit Warren Sharp on this because I did look this up, have been guilty of 26 of those fouls over the last 2 seasons.
Yeah.
2 other teams have been over 20, and those are the only teams that are over 18. So, like, you can call this the Terry Arnold rule if you want.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is a little bit, but also it's, it's
if you play man coverage, you got to do what you got to do.
Yep. The Lions style, the way they want to play and the way they play the game, it is what it is. And look, this is an opportunity. You've got the data on your side. I love it. It's gamesmanship from top to bottom, right? I'm all in on that. Let's see. We talked about the tush push rule. Let's see. It's great. Philadelphia submitted anyone from Wisconsin needs to get penalized just for putting in stupid rules. Let's see. What do we have?
They have Zach Bond on their team. They just paid him a lot of money.
What was the one for the Lions here?
So they proposed that
the seeds.
Yes. So what it is, this past season is a great example.
Yep.
The Rams and Buccaneers won their divisions with worse records than the wild card teams that they played, which were the Vikings and the Commanders. And this proposal would say that the number 1 seed, which was the Lions this past year, gets the bye in home field. But after that, divisions don't matter. It's just straight record. So last year, Minnesota would have wound up, I think, number 3 instead of number 5.
Right.
And Washington would have been number 4 instead of number 6. And you play it out. They would get the home games. Like winning your division doesn't mean anything other than you do get a berth in the playoffs. Like you're guaranteed to get in.
Yeah.
But like you could be going on the road if you're Tampa and you finish 10-7 and you win your division, and Washington
7-10.
I don't even remember who beat Minnesota. Was the
Lions?
Rams beat Minnesota?
I don't remember.
Yes, we beat them a lot. I don't either. It's not important. But that is one that I like because I'm tired of. Remember the year that Seattle won the West, and I think they were 7-9.
Yes,
and they got a home game and they won their playoff game, and I believe they beat the Packers actually in that year.
Deserved.
That's where the reason why the Packers fans hate Seattle. That's not right, man. Like if you're Minnesota and you go 14-3. And you got to go on the road to play a team that went 9. It's like, that's bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to help the Vikings out, but come
Horse
on,
hockey.
man. Like, they're the better team. They earned it.
That's right. It's horse hockey, if you ask me. Horse hockey. So the last one they have is a proposal about the roster. 90-player limit will not include players. It's basically... excluding players placed on reserve or injured prior to the on the day of the roster reduction to the 53 unless the players designated for return.
This would be John Kaminsky last year, who tore up his knee on a training camp practice. It happened like directly in front of all of us in the media. We heard him yelp. It sucked. And they had to carry him on their 90-man roster and couldn't replace him, because they had to wait until they got to the regular season and put him on IR so he could come back, is the long and the short of it. Now, they do have the ability to recall 2 players that were put on at the deadline to come back later, and that's good, but that's not good enough. So basically they had John Kaminsky laying there in agony, and they're like, oh, crap, now we only have 89 guys. And that they didn't do what I wanted to do and get rid of the inactive player thing, which is as archaic as hell, but
yeah.
Dates back to the Kennedy administration. There you go. So yeah, tied it together for you.
There it is. Damn it.
Conspiracy, man. Yeah. So that one,
Jack Ruby.
from listening to
we'll call it the Jack
from listening
Ruby
to the NFL Blitz on Sirius XM NFL Radio today, it sounds like that one actually might be the one that is most likely to pass. So,
there you go. It's the Jack Ruby rule. There we go.
Now I need to go watch that movie again.
Jolly West killed him. That's a whole nother story. People are going like, what the hell happened to Chris today?
I don't know, man.
It's hilarious. I love it. I absolutely love it. It's so much fun.
I don't go down those rabbit holes.
Oh, they're so great, dude. It's so
happy being in the.
Some people watch TV. Some people got movies. Some people read books. Right. I find this stuff just people's brains in this stuff is absolutely fascinating to me. Right. And then you find out some stuff is actually real that you thought was a conspiracy, like the whole MK Ultra thing, like the government's admitted to it. I thought it was just a conspiracy theory until I actually started reading about it. I was like, holy shit, they did what? It's nuts. It's so much fun. It is such a fun space to play, man. Oh yeah. Oh dude, look it up. Really, seriously, go to Wikipedia. It's fantastical. It's wild.
Wikipedia gets edited by yahoos like me.
Go to anybody. Go to any trusted news site. Any trusted news site you want and look that up. It's bananas.
All news is a conspiracy. How do you not know that?
Oh, that's what I'm telling you, man. You put the tin foil inside the shingles, right? When you redid the roof.
Oh no. I'm swimming in waters that I have no swimmings for.
Here we go. Peaceful Tim. He's bringing in Manson and Jolly West tied to Charles. MK Ultra is facts. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Hey,
I believe that Marilyn Manson molested those girls, but that's.
Oh, it was Charles. It was Charlie.
Oh. Marilyn Manson is much more my world.
And still not a second.
One of my dear friends went to high school with him when he was still Brian.
And yet, not a single second of footage from Wilt's 100-point game. Boom. Kevin. Thank you. Coming to a van down by the river near you. Thank you, Wes. Hey, if you want to check into all these great things, you have an opportunity to go to Amazon at DetroitLionsPodcast.com. It'll just zip you right straight over to Amazon. Throw a little cookie in your browser, which you won't even notice. We'll just give you a little tap on the butt there on the way by, and that tells Amazon that you stopped by and you were sent by us, and they just give us a cut of the profit, take a little bit out of Jeff Bezos' pocket, and help us do the stuff that we do by supporting the show. Amazon.DetroitLionsPodcast.com. Thank you all for using that. We appreciate you. You are our lifeblood. Riz, look, you're gonna go look up MK Ultra, and then there's gonna be a knock on the door. Okay?
Isn't that a beer?
Oh, go look it up. I'm telling you, it's fantastic. It's not great. It's not fantastic, really. It's like actually horrible, but it is wild that it's like so not known. Like it's
I can't express to you how little I care.
No, you will, dude. You absolutely will. If it's a 5-minute, 10-minute read, and mostly Wikipedia is right. It's totally worth it. It's totally worth it. I promise you will be stunned. All right.
I got players to watch, man. I got crap to write.
You're going to be sitting in the corner going, no way, man. All right. Don't forget about us on Patreon. Patreon.com/Detroit Lions Podcast. $5 a month or more gives you access to the Slack chat. You can hang out with us and we can talk. We've got to set up a conspiracies channel now. We don't have one. We've got to set one up. That would be so fun. That'd be so fun. Patreon.com/Detroit Lions Podcast. Get in there and hang out with us. It's a great time. A lot of fun. Make sure to follow us on the Twitter machine at Jeff Risdon. As you see, the man with
Don't do that.
The man with the balls in his hands, Jeff Risdon, and at DET Lions Podcast, DET Lions Podcast. It is the place to find out everything that's going on with the show when it goes on. Next week, our show is going to be a little bit later in the week. Got some things going on early to keep us busy, but we will be back. Don't you worry. We'll be here. Also, go to DetroitLionsPodcast.com, subscribe to the podcast, because when you do that, Conspiracy Riz, what happens?
I get to come into your ear holes automatically.
Allegedly. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next time on the Detroit Lions Podcast. Remember, no pants, no toasters, no hot tubs, no conspiracy theories, and no problems, because we're here, Detroit Lions and Reddit Connection. Thanks for indulging us, everybody. Happy off season. Got more to come.